Hello, great students. You're welcome to another class. All right, I'm excited having you here today. All right, so today we are going to look at some questions, past questions. Okay, so the objective of this class is just to prepare those of us that are about writing a third term examination. So I want you to get ready for today's class. Get your writing materials ready, your pen, your calculator, your book. And also don't forget to invite your friends. Let them know the class is about starting. And also, as you are joining the class, ensure you tap the like button and you say hi to everyone. All right, so in few seconds, we are going to commence the class. Thank you very much. Okay, I want to believe you have contacted your friends. Share this video with your friends. Let them know the class is about starting. Okay, so we are commencing anytime from now. Okay, I'm waiting for others to join the class before we commence. We don't really have much time. Okay, so make sure you inform your friends. Okay. Now today we are starting with a question under variation. So this is a joint variation. Now let's look at the question together. Now A varies directly as 2/3 of B and inversely as the square root of C. Now when A is 4, B is 4, and C is 16. Now find the value of B when C is 25/4 and A is 4. Okay, so how do we go about this? Now the first thing is to write the variation, okay, the relationship between A, B, and C. Now let's go through the question. The question says A varies directly as 2/3 of B. 2/3 of B means 2/3 times B. All right, so varies 2/3 of B. Okay, so this is 2/3 of B. Okay, and inversely as the square root of C. Inversely, that means the reciprocal of C. So that comes down. All right. So we cannot introduce the proportionality constant. Okay, we have A equals to 2BK over 3C, where K is the constant. All right. So now we need to get this K. So what we need to do is to plug in the values of A, B, and C. That has been given in the question. All right, don't forget this one is square root. We have square root of C, square root of C. Okay, so square root of C, square root of C. That's what the question says, square root of C. Okay, so now let's enter the values. A is what? A is 4. So we have 4 equals to 2 times B. B is also 4. Okay, times K over 3 times square root of C. That is square root of 16. Okay, so we have 4 equals to 2 times 4 times K over 3 times 4. Square root of 16 is 4. All right, so now this, we cancel this. Okay, so what we now have is 4 equals to 2/3 K. Now here you can cross multiply. All right, so when you cross multiply, you have 2K equals to, when you multiply this, you have 12. All right, let's continue here. So you divide both sides by 2. So we have K equals to 12/2. And so K equals to 6. So now we have the proportionality constant. Okay, so Now we can get the relationship between A, B, and C. All right, so now we can now get, don't forget K is 6. So we plug in the value of K here. So we have A equals to 2B 6 over 3 square root of C. Okay, this is the relationship between A, B, and C. Now, 3 goes here, 1. 3 goes here is 2. So we can simply write this as A equals to 2 times 2, 4, times B, that is 4B over square root of C. Okay, so that is okay. So now sorry for that. Okay, so now what we have now is the relationship between A and C. Now, what's the next thing? The question asks us to find the value of P when C is 25 over 4 and A is 4. All right, so now let's plug in this value into this equation and let's see what we're going to have. So we have, in place of A now, you put 4. So we have 4 equals to 4. B is what? That's what we are looking for, all right? So we have P over square root of, now, what do we have as C? C is 25 over, now let's write that here. Okay, so we have 4 equals to 4B over square root of 25 over 2 over 4. Okay, all right. So we have plugged in the value of A, which is 4, and the value of C, which is 25 over 4. Okay, so now here we can cross multiply here. So this multiplies this. So B times 1. So we have 4B equals to, now 4 will multiply everything we have 4 times square root of 25 over 4. All right, so we have, now here, let me divide both sides by 4. So 4 cancel this 4. So I have B equals to square root of 25 over 4. Okay, so you can find square root of 25 and 4. So we have B equals to what? 5 over 4. And that is the same thing as 1 number 1 over 4. So that is the answer to the problem. I hope every one of us understand that. All right, so thank you. Now let's move down to another question on the, okay, let's take another one on the variation. Another one on the variation. If y is directly proportional to x and z, and x decreases or decreased by 20%, All right, so this is another question. Okay. I hope every one of us can see the board clearly and you can hear me. Okay. All right. Okay, so now let's look at the problem here. All right. Now the question says if y is directly proportional to x and z and x decreased by 20%, y z by 50%, find the percentage decrease in y. So how do you do this? Now, the relationship we have here is this. Y varies directly as x and z. Okay, so and that implies that y equals to kxz, where k is constant. Okay, so now let's move on. Now the x is decreased by 20% and z decreased by 50%. So that means we have a new x and a new y. So now, so we now have, let's say x1, that is the new x, decreased by 20%. So that is going to be 80 over 100 of x. All right. So x is decreased by 20%. So instead of us having 100%, the full one, it has been reduced by 20%. So decreased by 20%. So we have that. And that is the same thing as 8 over 10 x. Now let's look at the second one. Y decreased by 50%. So we have z is 50 over 100, this z1 of z. So the new z, which is z1, is 50 over 100 z, because z have been decreased by 50%. So it must reduce. It's not longer 100%. So it's now 50%. So, and that is the same thing as 5 over 10 z. Okay. So now, what we want to get now is the decrease in y. We want to get the new y. Okay, so the new y, which is y1, will vary directly as x1, z1. All right, so we have y1 equals to kx1, z1. All right, so we have y1, that is the new y, will be k. Now, what is x1? We have already gotten that. That is what? That is 8 over 10x. And y1, z1 is 5 over 10z. So this gives us now 8 times 5, that is 40. And 10 times 10, that is 100. So we have k times x times z. So that gives us kxz. And don't forget, kxz is y. All right, so we have y1 equals to 40 over 100 of y. Okay, so now let's see. Now the new y is 40 over 100 of y. So it's no longer 100%. So it has been reduced by what? 60%. So we now say that y is decreased by what? 60%. That's going to be our answer. So y decrease decreased by 60%. So that is the answer to that. I hope you all understand that. All right. Okay, so can we look at another topic? Okay, let's look at another topic. Let's look at quadratic equation. Okay, the first one, factorize the following. You have 1x squared plus 6 over 5 x plus 8 over 25. And the second one, we have e squared minus 5 over 6 x minus 1, e minus 6. Okay, now look at the question we have here. All right, so let me give you 2 minutes or thereabouts. Now attempt the first one. So if you have your answer, you can drop it in the comment section before we commence. So lay your hands on this. Let's see what you're going to have. All right, factorize the quadratic equation x raised to the power of 2 plus 6 over x plus 8 over 25. So if you have the answer, you can drop that in the comment section. All right, Pius, you're welcome. Yeah, good evening to you. Okay, Olorun for me, you're welcome. Good evening to you. Okay, I can see Christina, you're welcome. All right. All right. Okay, is there anybody with the answer? So if you have answer to that problem, you can drop in the comment section. Let's see. What do you have for that? So the next 1 minute, we are going to solve the problem together. Okay, I expect answer to be rolling in now. Or is it difficult? All right, identify your sum and product and just look for two numbers such that the addition will give you the sum and the multiplication gives you the product. So that's all. All right, so is there anybody with the answer? Okay. All right, is it difficult? All right, now, okay, let's solve the problem together. So I know some of you probably maybe you're about getting your answer, so you can just compare with what you're going to have here. So if you got the answer, let me know in the comment section. Now we have x raised to the power of 2 plus 6 over 5 x plus 8 over 25. Now the first thing to do here now is to identify your sum and product. So you can bring that out. What is sum in this case? We have your sum is the coefficient of x, that is 6 over 5. And the product The product is 8 over 25. All right, so you need two numbers such that when you multiply the two numbers together, you have this. And when you add together, you have this. Okay, so what are the two numbers? Now, what comes to mind now, I'll look at the denominator here. So what will I multiply together to give me this 25? So I just thought of it has to be 5 times 5. So now, and here 8. I have several numbers. I can have 1 times 8. I can have 2 times 4. Okay. So now, so the two numbers, if you consider all what I've just said now, we have 2 over 5 and 4 over 5. All right. So now when you look at these two numbers, see, when you multiply this and this together, you have 25. Multiply 2 and 4 together, you have 8. And now, when you add together, let's add. The LCM is 5. So 5 goes in 5, 1 times 2, that's 2 plus. 5 goes in 5, that is 1 times 4. So you have 6 over 5. You get that? Okay, so that means the two numbers are 2 over 5 and 4 over 5. All right, so now this turns to x squared plus 2 over 5x plus 4 over 5x plus 8 over 25. All right, now let's look at the first pair here. So what is the common factor, the GCD of these two numbers? So we have x. X is the GCD, so when you divide this by x, x squared by x, you have x plus 2 over 5x, you have 2 over 5. All right, so now what is the GCD here? What is the common factor? Okay, so what is that? So that is 4 over 5. That's plus 4 over 5. All right, so when you divide this by 4 over 5, you have x plus 2 over 5. All right, in most cases, when you are doing the writing, what you have in the brackets is going to be the same. So you can see when you open the brackets here, you have what you have here. So 4 over 5 times x, you have 4 over 5x, and 4 over 5 times 2 over 5, that's 8 over 25. All right, so now let us find the GCD of these two terms. So we just factor out x plus 2 over 5. So let's factor that out. We have x plus 2 over 5. So what are we left with now? We are left with x and 4 over 5. So we have x plus 4 over 5. So that's all. So this is the answer to the problem. Can you see? All right. So I hope every one of you understand the explanation to that. Okay. So I guess we can proceed to the next thing if you understand that. Okay. So now let's look at the second one here. I didn't see anybody dropping an answer to that. So probably we are having an issue with that. Okay, so let's look at the second one. We have e squared minus 5 over 6e minus 1 over 6. So we identify the sum and product just like we did for this. So the sum and product. Sum negative 5 over 6 and products, that is negative 1 over 6. Okay, this time around, can you tell me the two numbers? All right, so this is the sum, this is the product. Okay, just like I did this one. Now, can you give me the two numbers such that when you add together, you have the sum? And when multiplied together, you have the product. Okay, anyone? Anyone that wants to give me the answer to that? Okay. Is there anybody, am I seeing anybody dropping an answer? Yes, I think I can see Eniola now, progress. You're welcome to class. Adewuyi, you're welcome to class. Yes, can you react to that question? Okay, Temiloluwa, all right, you're welcome to class. Yes. Anyone? Sum and product. Sum and product. I'm waiting for your response. Okay, Mojisola Adeomi, you're welcome to class. Yes. Yes. Anyone? What are the two numbers? The two numbers such that when multiplied together, you have -1/6, and when add together, you have -5/6. Okay, I can see Pius. Okay, are you dropping any answer? Okay, since you are finding it difficult. All right, so now let's look at it. Now, looking at the product, you see, if I must have a product of this, so I have to look at it that it's either I have this 1 and the -6 to get this when I multiply together, or I have -1 and the negative 1/6. Okay, or you think of maybe 1/2 and the 1/, maybe 3 thereabout. Okay, all right, so when you combine together, but obviously these two will not work for me, so I won't consider that, because while I'm writing those numbers out, I'm also looking at my sum. I'll look for the one that is going to suit me. So now the answer now lies between these two. So which one is going to be the appropriate? So when you look at this is going to be the answer. This is going to be the two numbers, because if you have a -1, which is also bigger than 1/6, so we have a negative sum. All right, so when you multiply this and this together, you have the product. So that means the two numbers are -1 and 1/6. So now this returns to e squared -e plus e/6 minus 1/6. All right, so now when you add these two middle together, you have what we have there. All right, so now let's look at this one. When you factor out this, you have e. E is the GCD of these two terms, e squared and the negative e. We are left with e minus 1. Now here too, the GCD here is going to be what? 1/6. So we have plus 1/6. All right, so when you divide this by 1/6, you'll be left with e. Divide 1/6 by 1/6, you have 1. So you have 1 here. Okay. So you see, when you open the bracket, you have this back. This, you have that. Okay, so now we factor out e minus 1. So when you factor that, we have e minus 1. We are left with e plus 1/6. Okay, and this is the answer to the problem. All right, I hope you all understand that, how to solve the quadratic equation. Okay, so that is that. Now let us move down to this set theory question. Let's see how we can approach this. Okay. Yes. I hope we can all see the question on the board. In a class of 40 students, 15 offer physics, 20 offer history, and 3 offer both physics and history. How many students offer neither physics nor history? I hope we can all see the board. You can hear me clearly. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So now let's see, how do we solve this problem? Now, in the question, we have been told that the total number of students in the class that we want to consider is 40. So now we are going to start by saying, let's calling U to represent the set of all the students. Okay. All right. So we are told that some offered physics. So we start by saying, let's P be set of those that offer physics. Okay, YH to be the set of those that offer history. All right. So now, in the question, we are given the number of all the students. That is N of calling U, that is 40 students. Now, 15 offered physics. So number of those that offer physics is 15. Now, 20 offer history. Number of those that offer history is 20. Right. Now, 3 offer both physics and history. So number of those that offer physics and history. So we can now go ahead and find the number of students that offer neither physics nor history. So now we are going to draw the Venn diagram to illustrate this. So we have the two subsets, that's set P and set H. Okay, inside the curly bracket are the rectangle, which is the universal set. So, and that is what? 40. Total number here, 40. Now, the total number of students that offered physics, how many are they? 15. So, you put it here. What of history? You have 20. Now, here, the first thing to enter is this middle, okay? The intersection of the two subsets. Okay, so now in the question, we are told now that the number of those that offer physics and history is 3. So that means here we have 3. So you can see here we have physics and we also have history. Now, let's get the number of those that offer physics only. Now look at it. The whole circle here is meant for physics, and the total number of students in this circle is what? 15. So if we have 3 of them that offer history, so now how many will be left now that do not offer history? So it will just be 15 minus 3, and that gives you 12. So 12 students offer only physics. Now the same thing here. Now number of those that offer history only, so we have 20 minus 3. So that is what? That is 17. Okay. So those that did not offer any of the subjects, they are outside. Okay, so we can represent that with X. So the student in this class can either belong to this this category, the first category, or the second category, or the third category, or the fourth category. So we just have 4 parts there. So among all these students, so you can either be here or here or here or outside. All right. So once we had all the students together, we must have 40. All right. So now can we go ahead and do that? Let's see what we're going to have. Okay. So now all the students, this number of all the students, which is 40, is going to be it will be equal to the first part plus the second part plus the third and the fourth part. So the first part is 12. That's 12 plus 3 plus 17. Okay, plus x. All right, these are the 4 parts added together. Now, the total number of students is what? 40. So let's input that. So we have 40 equals to, now let's add this together. That is 32 plus x. All right, so you can transpose 32. So we have 40 minus 32 equals to x. So you have x equals to 8 students. Okay, so the number of those that offer neither of the subjects, so are what? As 8 students. Don't forget to always put your unit, very, very important. Whenever you're answering question, always remember to put your units. No unit, you lose a point. All right, so I want to believe you guys have learned one or two things. So I'm going to be stopping here for today. So tomorrow is another day. So we're going to continue from where we stop. So I have a lot of questions that we are going to treat together. So make sure you are available. And don't forget, if today is your first time joining this video, okay, joining this class rather, so ensure that you subscribe to this channel so that whenever we're here, you'll be duly notified. So thank you very much. I love you guys. Bye-bye.